Welcome to A Seat at the Table. I'm Demi.
I'm Randy.
And today is a very special two-part episode. Or it's not a two-part episode because two is more than one. Y'all know.
Hey, y'all
already know. Y'all already know. Anyway, y'all understand it's going to be a two-part episode. And recently we lost our cosmetics line, Demiere Cosmetics, which we have had since 2009. And I shared an emotional story.
We didn't lose it.
We didn't lose. We lost the name due to a trademarking issue. So we didn't lose the brand, but we lost it to a trademarking issue. And I recently shared my story on Facebook. It was a very emotional story. Just because when you're building a business, you're building a brand, and especially after being in business since 2009, to actually lose it to a trademark issue, it was heartbreaking. But at the same time, for me, it was like a blessing in disguise. I mean, for all of you out who are watching that are on an entrepreneur journey, especially when you're building a brand, you have a physical product that you are selling, it's a lot. You know, it's a lot. And I feel like when we started the brand in 2009, honestly, I feel like we've been fighting ever since we started the brand, because in 2009, nobody was doing cosmetics line, not regular people. Like, nobody was doing cosmetics line. So
they weren't doing like people were selling glosses.
No, they weren't.
They weren't back then?
Nobody was selling glosses that. Like, we were regular people starting a full cosmetics line, like if you're going into a whole department store. So to build all of that up, build your customers up, carry the weight of ensuring that your customers have the products that they need, and then to be here in 2022 and it's all washed away. You know what I mean? But I know for you were my business partner, just the emotional, mental, physical strain of the whole journey, it was a lot.
Yeah, the one thing that you said, and the thing people don't need to understand, that I was there the whole time.
Yeah.
But the capacities of business are two different lanes, and being the person that was helping with the marketing and, placement and dealing with the vendors and things of that nature is totally different from a person that has a different emotional connection.
Absolutely.
And she had emotional connection, first of all, because it was her industry, the beauty industry first and foremost. And the question I have is, starting out, is you said it was a blessing in disguise. And people are like, man, it's 2022. We're coming up on what's that?
13
years. And how can having to stop something that was your passion be a blessing?
Because of the pressure.
Okay, pressure.
Because of the pressure. Because, as I said, I was fighting from the beginning because it was so unusual, so unorthodox for a regular person to start a full cosmetics line. So now, unlike where we are now, there's multiple people that have brands. I'm competing with the big labels. Not going to name them, but I'm competing with the big labels. And so when you're competing with them and people see you as a regular person, the convincing factor is very hard. And I know you can say, well, did you know your niche market, or did you know this, or like all of those things? And we did all of those things to see what the niche market is. But just because you know what your niche market is don't mean that the consumers are going to buy into your product. So I feel like it was a constant battle. I feel like going into the social media age, even though we had the social media, and I'm gonna have to throw this in. I won't name names, but when I really got kind of towards the end in the last 2 years, I reached out to a brand specialist. I just wanted them to look at the social media, look at the website, see what they thought, and this is the feedback that they gave me. They said, basically, you think like the 1%ers, but you're not them. They said, you have to show the flashy stuff. You have to show the labels, the homes, the cars, all of these things. They said, I know that it might not seem right to you, but if you just research the brands in the beauty industry that are successful, you can see that they do have the followers. They're making the millions of dollars. It just didn't resonate with my personality and who I was, because I'm just a minimalistic thinker, if you will. And if you are creating a solution for the consumer, then to me, that's it. Now, that's just my personal opinion, because it comes off as very fake and phony if that's not you. And so once I kind of realized that, I was like, you know what? It's just going to be downhill.
Well, I'm curious about one thing. I don't think I've ever asked you this. So when you look at the existing brands that are in the industry, do you think that the fact that a lot of them were created before this social media era, so they had to do it the brick and mortar way, they had to do it the guerrilla way?
They did.
So do you feel like their product is appreciated more because they had to do it the old school way? They had to have people to love what they were offering over what they were showing.
I think that they had already made a staple. I think they had just already made a staple. They already kind of had their consumer base. We didn't have so many options. And then the social media wasn't available. So now not only are they looking at the social media, what you're offering, they want to go on your personal page and they want to get into your personal life. And I'm all for that. I don't have anything to hide. However, just the whole shininess of having to convince somebody to buy my product because I own these things, it didn't resonate with me. And I got depressed. I really got sad. I got sad about it. You know, I felt like, why am I even trying to move forward? I mean, we got the app, we had all of these things that were pushing the brand out. But I do feel like in my heart, if I had done some of those things, it would have pushed it some. But again, the one thing that I can tell you about entrepreneurship and when you're branding, if it doesn't resonate with your personality and you go to post or you're in front of people, it's going to be very fake and phony and they're going to see that. And it's not sellable. It's just not sellable. I don't buy brands because I see the owners and they have all these things. I buy things because it creates a solution for my lifestyle. So it's just very, very disheartening. And I think the other thing too was the comment of, you're not the 1%. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
What does the 1% mean? Is it a black and white thing? It is a money thing? Is it a mindset thing? Like, what was that?
Well, I mean, just being honest, I think it was more of a color barrier, in my opinion. I feel like that you were being told that you're not thinking as your people want to see.
And that's what he said. He said you don't resonate with the minority.
But that sucks, though.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you sit here and tell me that the only way that people that look like me will purchase a quality product is if you show it inside of this quality bag? I don't feel like, that with me, I don't feel like when you sell something off of a false narrative, they're not falling in love with what you're selling.
Absolutely.
So you have an opportunity to lose that person. See, I like to fall in love with products first, and I like to try to create a product that someone will love, and that way they want it regardless of where it is.
Right.
They're, like you said, I like this word solution. We create a solution, and I feel like with the trademark issue was actually a solution to stop.
Right.
Reevaluate and do it the way you want to do it, with implementing some things in, but keeping the same end goal of falling in love with your product. Now, I also feel like that means that you might need to change what you offer, maybe, to fit your narrative.
Right.
You can't sell things that don't fit your narrative at the same time. And I feel like you're in a different place now.
I am.
And the more seasoned we get, we like simplicity. We like simplicity, and I feel like I see the peace over you now.
Oh my God. I have so much peace, y'all. If you watch the Facebook video, you seen the tears, you seen me crying. Yes, of course I was sad, but 10% of it was sadness and 90% of it was definitely like, girl, you about to be okay now. You're about to be okay now, because it had really took a mental toll on me. And, I could have done more. I could have done more. I could have done more. So I'm not saying that one piece of advice was the downfall to it. I could have definitely done more. But at the same time as trying to build a beauty brand, I was a hairstylist. I was doing 20, 30 hairs a day. We had the rehab business going on. We had the coaching business going on. So there were definitely different factors. But I do agree with you that in 2009 to 2013, I am a totally different person, and I didn't connect. It was like there was a disconnect there.
Yeah. So when you think, do you feel like you're losing?
No.
By not offering because you have a loyal clientele, So talk to me about how that because that's a transition
Yeah.
in itself. When you're taking away a tangible product,
Right.
and now you're giving the competition the opportunity to come in and swoop in and get
Correct.
your 10 plus years of people that have depended on you because you offer foundations. You know, that was the one unusual thing. And then I know that you actually were focusing on the more darker toned
Right.
browns. Instead of mixing, you focus more on, hey, you deserve to have one shade as well. So you built a clientele on some things that were unusual.
Right.
How does that feel, and how are you working with your clients to make them comfortable with this transition?
The one thing I can say that it was a gift and a curse. I can say that it was more of a gift, and sometimes more if it was a curse than others, is the fact that I wanted to build a personal relationship with each one of my clients, because when I would go to the beauty counters, they cared, but I was a number. And I would always feel that way when I would purchase. So when I started the line, I'm like, I want to have a personal relationship with every client that comes in there. I want them to be able to contact me if they need something. And what happened was I began to get like people every day texting or calling or inboxing about a product, instead of me having them go to the website, and if they needed questions, reach out via email, because I want to create the personal experience. So with me creating that personal experience, when the rebrand happens, I think that they will notice that, you know what I mean? And they won't leave. But on the other hand, we did keep the foundations.
Okay.
Because I know how hard it is if you have a foundation you love and you don't want to switch. You don't want to switch. So that was another thing that I did for my customer base, was I kept the foundations available for them so they could go online and purchase. So, you know, with that personal experience, I love all of my clients dearly, and I thank them for, you know, sticking to the journey and being loyal to the brand, being loyal to me. But when we rebrand, I have to go a different route because it's going to go bigger. It's going to be more customers. And so I can't necessarily have a personal experience with them one-on-one, but my brand can become a personal experience for them, which is still connected to me.
And you know, that was my little time to throw a lesson in there.
Y'all know Truth Coach Randy always got a lesson.
So what I was getting at was, see, as an entrepreneur, don't think that because you have to make a shift,
Right.
that you have to abandon the people that have supported you.
Absolutely.
See, she's not abandoning anybody. She's just making it better. And believe it or not, you can even make it better if you don't bring it back.
Yeah.
That's through advice.
That's through advice.
You know, guidance.
Yep.
Things that you can see so many ways to show love to your people that have taken care of you. And that's just the point that I want to make to you entrepreneurs, and especially aspiring entrepreneurs. You don't have to get it right the first time.
Right.
It's okay.
Right.
It's okay to shift. It's okay because, you know, this is a puzzle that will never be perfected. There's always going to be a piece that you're going to go, wait a minute, this right here don't fit. You know, that piece might be the journey for a whole nother situation.
Right.
See, don't always try to beat it in. Sometimes you have to go, wait a minute, I'm done right here. I'm done right here. I've grown. It's time for a little more, because it's actually going to be a little bit more complex.
Correct.
Even though it's going to feel easier because the times have changed.
Absolutely.
So she's adjusting in so many different ways. And that's what I want to let people know. Understand that adjustment has to also include those that have supported you.
That's a word. So the biggest question that everyone is asking is, Demi, what's next?
And I'm going to ask her, Demi, what's next?
We'll see.